On January 29th, 2006, everything changed for journalist Bob Woodruff. He was riding in an armored vehicle in Iraq when a roadside bomb went off. Woodruff and his cameraman were severely injured. Both survived. Woodruff was in a coma for nearly 40 days and spent a long time recovering from his injuries. He had to learn to walk and talk again and return to life again as a husband and father and a television journalist. He's become a beacon of hope for many traumatic brain injury survivors and their families.
Bob Woodruff joins us live this morning. Bob, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Robin. It's great to be. Thank you.
Wow, I can't imagine what you've gone through over the last 16 years, but tell us your memories of those initial days and waking up from a coma after 40 days.
Well, I certainly don't remember anything for 36 days when I was in that coma. So when I woke up, I remember there's my family around me, a couple of other friends, and one of the first things that I said to my wife when I woke up was, "Where have you been?" And she says, "What do you mean, where have I been?" She and my brothers, my three brothers and my parents, sadly are not around with us anymore, but they were there right at my bedside for me. And of course, that was one of the things that helped me to recover to the point that I have.
And where are you today? Do you experience pain? Do you experience memory issues?
No, it's interesting. I didn't really have, obviously when I woke up, I was not able to sleep. It was horrible, headaches. And then that kind of pain has gone away. It's pretty amazing. My physical injuries are not ones that kept the pain with me. It certainly existed for a long time. And mine, like so many others that are wounded, especially those with concussions like that because of this explosion, it's largely, for me, it was a loss of memory. It's called aphasia. Largely for me, I just couldn't quite get the words correct. The letters kind of twisted around. So mine is more trying to find the right word as opposed to what I'm able to think about or understand. So it's called aphasia is what I've got. It's not physical pain.
From what I've read, you and your wife started the Bob Woodruff Foundation because of your experience in the hospital, seeing how you had family around you, and there were so many veterans that were injured that just did not have the support. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was right here in the Bethesda Naval, and that was on the third floor. A lot of them were Marines. They're also badly wounded. Many of them were still, unconscious the way that I was, and my family and friends actually became friends with a lot of them. But at that point, the miracle of it all was the medical advancements because of the war were stunning. People were saved that should not have lived, including myself. But the problem that we saw was that when people went back to their towns, to their cities, they just didn't have the same kind of support. So we just decided to do something at least for those because I did have the family and a lot more support. And so we just didn't want it to happen, to fill that gap between what the VA, the government was able to do. And because of this war was so shocking. There's so many lives, a lot of them invisible wounds. And so we did. And that's been 16 years and it's been the most satisfying thing that I've done in my life.
So when you say that these soldiers didn't get the support, is it because there were not facilities available, or was it a funding issue?
I think it was overwhelmed. This was the VA moves like the Titanic. For it to make changes in something that they never really fully expected, then it's not easy for them. So we had to get a much faster, in some ways, organizations to try to help out. There were about 45,000 organizations that were formed, some of them little tiny ones, huge ones, some were in the middle, some of them were scams, and other ones were just doing extremely good work. But there was so little that they can do to full it completely because it was so large. We had so many wounded in this war that lived, as opposed to those in previous wars where they're badly wounded and did not survive. It was a new kind of a war in Afghanistan and in Iraq.
Bob, what's your perspective now about being a journalist and going into a war zone? When you see journalists out there in the field now, what is your reaction to that?
Well, I think we owe them in many ways. I think these kinds of places, despite all of the kind of criticism that comes towards the media a lot, if you at least go overseas what are we going to know if there weren't people there to report about it? I mean, we know more when we see people and talk people in places that are in crisis or at war. Unless we talk to them, we don't really completely understand the facts or the feelings of what they're going through. So I think those that are doing the reporting is important. I don't cover wars anymore. I promised to my family, my wife, and my kids, I'm not going to cover wars. But I do cover conflicts. So it's one that, so there's not gunfire and bombs, then I'll go and do that. So I've been, covering a lot in Asia, for example, and certainly, just came back from Taiwan, which could be the next Ukraine, this time from Xi Jinping in China. So we'll see what happens over there.
All right, Bob, great to talk to you. I'm glad you're doing well. The BobWoodruffFoundation.org. There's the information on your screen. Always appreciate your work. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Robin.